time to run it back. Makes me so happy. #1 overall pick, Markelle Fultz, returning to action after missing 68 games with a shoulder injury. That's a big number. He scored 10 points, 8 assists, 14 minutes of action. Those are good numbers. Tracy, Sixers clinching a playoff spot without Fultz. How much better does he make him now? Considering you said adrenaline, so for the reals, how much is he going to make him better?
I can't believe we even about to address this question. Like,
why? The playoffs are in like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, but this guy's played one game. Like, we don't even know what type of game he's going to bring to the team. We don't know.
Well, so the real question is, he took T.J. McConnell.
He's a #1 overall pick. Your #1 overall pick. I'm trying to,
I mean,
ask questions from somebody who might know something about some things.
He's going to replace T.J. McConnell. That's whose minutes he took last night. So the question really is he an upgrade from T.J. McConnell? And the answer right now is we don't know that yet.
We don't know.
And that's not a good answer to have for a guy who's #1 overall pick. Right. No offense to TJ. So the thing about it is...
Oh, yeah, Trey, sorry.
Let's see what happens when...
Seems like Tracy was pick 9. I know, but he's #1 in my mind.
#1 in your heart. No, he was #1 overall pick in your heart.
Right.
Yeah. #9 overall.
There you go.
We're going to see the Knicks tomorrow night. The Knicks are going to have practice today. They're going to shoot around tomorrow, and they're going to want to go at Markelle Fultz because they're going to be angry that he was the lead of this show and they weren't the lead of this show. Right. We're arguing about whether he's tanking. So they're going to back off of him tomorrow night, and they're not going to let him drive to the basket and stuff like that. So when he and also his teammates last night really were invested. He had the ball in his hands almost as much as Ben Simmons, who played 20 more minutes than him. So things are going to change a little bit. Let's see what happens with that. But there might end up being an interesting decision here about who is better for the Sixers, T.J. McConnell or Markelle Fultz, believe it or not, as they get towards the playoffs here.
Again, I just want to see, what these last few weeks of him bringing to this team. I want to see. Then I'll be able to answer this question. But right now, I just can't answer that because I know how it is to be out for so long.
Right.
The anticipation is building up, and you're ready to get out there and play. And like I said earlier, it's either going to go bad because you're going to be pressing too much or you're going to have a game like he did last night. If he could play like he did last night for this team, then he adds another dimension for this ball club.
I think he definitely has another dimension. It's just a question of whether that dimension comes this year or not.
Right. And TJ obviously is experienced, so even though the talent level is not the same.
Well, he does have great length and great athleticism. I mean, you could definitely see that last night.
Yeah, I know.
It's just hard for me because you got Ben Simmons, who's not a shooter.
Right.
Then you got Markelle, who's not a shooter.
Well, it's supposed to be a shooter. It's just not a shooter at the moment.
Well, we don't know.
Right.
Yeah. It's a wait-and-see game, people. We don't know.
But they're playing the Knicks, who I think are trying to tank, and Brian thinks they're not. So I guess we'll find out. Tonight could be the last time. Could be. I don't know. Dwayne Wade has said he will consider and think about this summer whether he wants to continue playing in the NBA. He says he's not going to think about it until then. He said it will be the first time he has ever thought about it, and the Cavs are in town tonight. Brian, I did want to ask you, this is a road trip where the Cavaliers had an off night in New York City.
Yes.
Played the Nets the next day. They won, but it was a little hairy for a while. Now they have an off night in Miami last night.
They actually had 2 off nights in Miami because they flew down.
Oh, it was a day game for Sunday.
They flew down immediately after the game.
Right, so 2 off nights in Miami. So I'm supposed to ask you about whether Wade's going to retire this offseason, but give me like a 2-second answer on that part too.
Miami, I don't know if you're aware of this, Rachel, is pretty popular in March, even on Sunday nights,
really?
on Monday nights. So I think the Cavs were there.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. LeBron knows how to handle his business, though. I bet he'll be fine.
I'm asking about LeBron.
I remember. No, you're not. I remember I was at the first LeBron Wade game. The third deck at the Heat's arena was cordoned off. The Heat were 0-7. The Cavs were like 2-5. Nobody cared about that game. And for me to think about how much has happened over the last 15 years for this moment tonight is amazing. I hope it's not the last game because I actually think Dwayne Wade's been pretty darn good at times this year. And I would say to him, Dwayne, you should run it back one more time. Come back next year.
Look at that.
I would encourage him to do it. But I also understand it's not my knees. It's not my back. I don't have to prepare like he does.
Man, you don't know how that feels, waking up every morning. Your knees, your back, your Achilles, everything is hurting. But, if that paycheck is nice, it's just worth getting up. No, I would love to see him come back one more year. I mean, he's been playing, pretty good basketball this year. It's not...
Sixth Man of the Year candidate?
For sure. It's not like, he's been a guy that can only play 60 or 50 games. I mean, if he can continue to, help his team and play multiple games in terms of 65 to 70 games a year, and not sit out. And when it comes playoff time, he's available for his team. I'll say continue to play. I mean, if he loves the game.
Rachel, what I'd like to see is
What?
a Heat-Cavs playoff series.
I know.
We all would like to see
run
that.
the full screen. It's possible they could end up in the first round of the playoffs against each other. LeBron and Dwayne in the playoffs has never happened. It's been like a bunch of near misses, right?
Yeah, and frankly, when LeBron's been a Cav, he's gotten his lunch eaten in American Airlines Arena. Now, when he was a Heat, he was awesome in American Airlines Arena, and he's been awesome as a Cav in American Airlines Arena. But when he's played for the Cavs have routinely gotten toasted in this arena, and they have not won a game in the American Airlines Arena since LeBron left in 2010.
But didn't he sit out a bunch of those games?
He sat out a bunch of them, and when he played well. But I want to see LeBron playing in Miami for the Cavs in the playoffs. I think it would be awesome.
Storylines is just
Right?
unbelievable.
Spo, Pat Riley.
Yeah, I would love to see this because I know these two like to fraternize before the game, but when they are going up against each other in competition, like they're really going at it.
Yeah.
And D Wade in the playoffs, LeBron in the playoffs will be very exciting and very competitive to watch.
It's been so close. They've been within
We need this
They've been
for
within
TV.
Half a
a
game.
hair of it before. A couple years ago, the Heat lost a Game 7. They would have played in the conference finals.
I'm going to bet it does not happen again.
We
this year, but we'll see.
need this.
I know, I
It's
think
for a first round matchup. Like we need TV needs the people,
There's
fans.
going to be good first-round matchups this year. This is not going to be like last year, especially in the West. There's going to be some killer first-round matchups.
Yeah.
So we'll get some good stuff. I don't know if we'll get this. We'll get some good stuff. Coming up, I'm going to ask the guys if they would rather have Damian Lillard or Anthony Davis for one playoff series. You will see why this is a relevant question. But first, here's our second distant replay. This is 2008.
Best basketball
You don't have to
right
thank Trey
now
Burke
down
as
the
Allen
stretch
Iverson.
run.
You can just watch Allen Iverson, friends.
Never happened before where a team
Oh, my.
Iverson.
Iverson was the second most impressive part of that play.
Wait a minute.
JR.
Allen Iverson will never be the second most
Turn in
impressive
the
part.
air.
Don't like
JR,
AI,
beg to differ.
no other uniform but the Phillies.
I know.